Well, that's really crazy that, people think that leads is all the marketing that a company needs, but it seems like you really think awareness is the top of the funnel for pretty much all your marketing. Why do you think awareness is so big, especially when it comes to marketing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if people don't know you exist, then nothing else really matters, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you could be the best at something and you could have good call to action, but if people don't even know that you exist, then really like what's the point in everything else? I get tired of hearing the phrase if you build it, they will come, right? And
Yeah.
that's a cool idea, the idea that like, hey, if you build something good enough and big enough, then people are going to come. But the truth is, if nobody knows about it, then nobody's going to nobody's going to come, right?
Yeah.
Awareness is key.
Yeah.
That is uh the number one thing we need to be focused on, making sure people know about you.
But there's this thing in I would say in the last year or so, that everybody just wants to go viral, right?
Mm.
Viral clips of
Sure,
this, and
sure.
dude, you got to make this short so I can go viral. What are your thoughts with that? Do you think that really helps with building
Yeah,
awareness?
I mean, obviously, like you can't say no, right?
Yeah,
Does going
yeah,
viral help with awareness? Sure, but it's kind of a flash in the pan most of the time.
yeah, yeah,
I know people who have gone viral and then they're just chasing
yeah.
that same thing over and over, and it's not really repeatable. Um, in some instances, you might be able to build a following through that, and people have been able to be successful on like riding on that high of the virality,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not necessarily what we're chasing.
Yeah.
It'd be a cool thing to have happen, but
Mm-hmm.
the truth is for a lot of local businesses, going viral isn't even that helpful.
No,
If
it's
you're a
not.
pizza shop in Bertrand and you go viral all of a sudden, you get a million views around the world.
Yeah,
There's 500,000 people in China who are watching your video and they think it's hilarious.
yeah.
Is that helping you build your pizza shop in any way? I mean, probably not, right? I mean, there's videos I've seen that I've really enjoyed the video.
Yeah.
And specifically, like I like watching, some of these videos about like food and they're doing these skits and it's kind of funny. But this is a restaurant in like New York City. This is a restaurant
Yeah, like
in
it's not helping
Boston
them.
where
It's not helping them.
I'm
It's
not
not putting more
going.
money in their pocket.
No, yeah, I'm
No,
not
not at
going
all.
to
Yeah,
it just because I
it's
saw a
cool to
viral
see.
video. Yeah, it's cool to see and it's fun and it's cool to be like, man, like my video got a million views, but
Yeah,
that's not necessarily what we're chasing
that's
is
true.
virality. Now, if you have a video go viral, cool. I mean, trying to uh we're not trying to fight against that, but that's not necessarily our main goal. Awareness and going viral aren't the same thing.
Yeah.
We're trying to build awareness in a targeted demographic, a targeted group of potential clients,
Hmm.
right? If you're in Bertrand, you want everyone in Bertrand to know about you,
Yeah,
to
and
know
I
you.
I think even with just going off a rabbit trail with that, I think even with going viral, like go viral in your city.
Yeah,
Don't
right.
go
Yeah,
viral in like
exactly.
China or in Africa where people may love watching your stuff. Man, that's some good pizza, but
Yeah,
like nobody was even knows that you exist in your city, right? So
sure.
yeah,
Yeah. And the truth is like it's a different strategy for different types of businesses.
yeah,
If you're like some sort of international company that, it's easy for someone to just click a link and buy some product or whatever, then going viral may not be a bad thing at all. It could be
hmm,
very, very beneficial.
yeah,
Uh, But like what we've talked about before, our goal is to help local businesses,
yeah,
right? So a lot of these things, the advice that we would give is going to be different depending on the type of client. And most of the type of clients we are helping, like you said, go viral in your city.
yeah.
You're not looking for a million views, you're looking for a couple 100,000 views,
Hmm.
but they're all local, right?
That's
That's
right.
what we're looking for.
That's right. That's right. Talking about going viral, one of the things that I think people think is when I blow up, when I get a million people to watch my content, I'm gonna make a lot of sales,
Hmm.
right? And working with a couple business owners, and it's like, man, my content is not really getting, 5, 6, 7,000 people watch it, or even more, right? because they equate the watch time to more money. What
Mhm.
are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Like I said, going viral doesn't necessarily mean more customers. What you have to realize is a lot of people that are making the type of content to get those like extremely high number of views,
Mhm.
they're actually making their money from the views and from the ads and from
Yep.
sponsors. Like
Yep.
that's a completely different thing. If you're making content for the purpose of that content making you money,
Mhm.
that is a different thing than making content for the purpose of advertising. And what we're talking about is making content for the purpose of advertising. And those
Yeah.
are two completely different games that you could be playing, um, with completely different outcomes and completely different strategies.
Mhm.
But I do think that getting more views eventually, if they're the right views,
Yeah.
eventually
Yeah.
that can turn into some clients, that
Yeah.
can turn into some paying customers.
Yeah.
But like we said, a whole bunch of views from people that aren't within the scope of your target audience
Yeah.
isn't going to be profitable.
That's right.
But if you are getting 15, 20,000 views on your content and that's all local,
Yeah.
well, in that case, I would say, yeah, eventually that will turn into a customer. And I will say I've seen that happen with myself, where over the years, I consistently see some content, I consistently see these videos, and then when I get to a place where I'm looking for that particular product or I'm looking for that particular service,
Yeah.
that company's the first one that comes to my mind. So getting views, I think, is a great thing
Yeah.
as long as it's views from the right people.
Yeah. Another thing that I think we need to touch on is people think awareness is just social media based. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, um, build awareness on my Facebook page. I need to have, X amount of followers and X amount of posts every week and X amount of this and that on social media. And we push social media quite a bit
Oh
just because
yeah.
that's where a lot of people are. But I think it goes a little bit more than that. People forget about
Mm.
Google. People forget about
Sure.
like your SEO, like your search engine
Yeah.
optimization. When people,
Well, and we've seen that with some of our clients, right? We have a report that we run for our clients
yeah,
that'll show, 100 different sites that you should probably be listed on.
yep,
And the number of those sites that most of our clients are listed on is like staggeringly low, right? You're like,
yeah,
hey, here's 100 sites you should be listed on. You're listed on four of them
yeah,
or two of them, right?
two
Like
of them,
you're
yep,
you're on Google barely,
yeah,
and you're on Facebook, but here's all these other ones that
yeah,
you should be on that you're not. Like I said, it's everywhere. It's not just social media. Now, is social media
exactly,
important? Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah.
there's a lot of other places you should be
And
your
and I think people don't understand, like, when people search for you on Google, right?
Mhm.
Google looks for information based on databases, like Yellow Pages and Yelp and all
Mhm.
those big websites that people don't really use anymore, like the Craigslist, and it's come and gone, but they still exist, right? And that's where
Yeah.
Google is pulling all this information from, trying to find out where you are or who's this business. And if your information does not really match up, your
Mhm.
awareness is not really that good, right? So I think that'd be definitely another one that people should look into, especially just not social media. Right now there's so much even going on with like signage. I think we're talking about that recently, like billboards and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? um
Yeah, absolutely. And
gas
I think it's
station
all
gas
important.
station ads and stuff like
Gas
that as
station
well.
ads, which yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast today. I thought it was really cool. And he was talking about how we have about 24 months before this whole AI revolution takes over, right?
Mhm.
So he showed like a Instagram channel that boy, I can't remember his name now, but this guy has like probably about 1 million followers, and all his content is AI, like AI.
Yeah.
Now
Oh, I
really
believe it.
well
Yeah.
done AI. It wasn't bad AI
Sure.
at all. Well done AI. And what he was talking about is right now, a lot of people are living off borrowed audience. So think of Instagram, think of Facebook, think of TikTok. You don't own those platforms. It's borrowed,
Mhm.
right? You
Right.
build
Yeah.
you're building followers on there, but they're technically not your followers, right? They just
Sure.
like
Sure.
what you're doing, so they kind of click into your channel. If those channels or those big suppliers decide to say, we're done with business and they pack up tomorrow, there's nothing you can do. right? It's
Yeah,
borrowed.
absolutely. Well, and
So
you see that with people even on a smaller scale when they
exactly.
say, "Hey, we don't like your channel anymore,"
Yep. Yep. So
and like
he
you
was
can't even
talking
argue
about,
with them, right?
yeah, he was talking about like since it's borrowed, you should be trying your best to create your own platforms. So that means
Mm,
your email marketing, how does it look
sure.
like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
that you think are
Yes.
actually your followers, right? Do you
Hmm.
have their information? Can you nurture them? Can you send them information if Facebook does not exist anymore? Do you have their
Hmm.
phone numbers? Maybe you have a new product. If all your followers are on Facebook and Facebook decides to fold tomorrow, how are you going to get to your followers, right? So like
Yeah.
start thinking of awareness and not just, oh, I'm going viral on social media and this, but how are, I mean, we talked about that recently, building a community around your brand, right?
Yeah.
Making sure it's
Exactly.
not just just a flash in the pan moment where people really enjoyed like a short, really, silly thing you did, but a community of people that actually believe in your brand, and now they can, they trust you to actually spend money with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep, yep. Probably just finish up with this. One of the things that we definitely are learning here, especially as we work with different businesses, is awareness is measurable, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. For sure.
one of the biggest problems we're finding out with business owners is it's not that they don't have a good business or they're not solving problems or either they don't have a good products. When it comes to marketing, they don't have clarity, right? You ask them, how's your digital marketing doing? Let's just say social media, no idea, right? Well, we post
Hmm.
here once, or we post there once, and we have so amount of followers. Well, who are those followers? Do you have, we're talking about that when it even comes to running ads. Do you have a group of people that you can show a certain ads again and again and again and nurture them in different ways? Most of them don't, right? So
Hmm.
awareness is measurable, and being able to have tools in front of you that be able to show you how you are doing with your digital marketing, I believe is definitely very important. Do you have any
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, I will say that some aspects of awareness is difficult to measure,
Yeah.
and but I think people, because people know that to be true,
Hmm.
they kind of just assume that you can't measure it at all, right?
Hmm.
And I think like it's like they're taking a partial truth and then they're blowing it up to something that is not true.
Yeah.
It is difficult to measure awareness, and but there's elements of it that you 100% can measure, right? And we've
Yeah.
seen that with some of our tools, with some of our clients. We run a report for them, and it's like, hey, you guys are doing decent, but here's some areas you can run in,
Hmm.
you can improve in. And
Yeah.
other clients, we run a report for them, and it's like, hey, literally, as far as awareness goes on a broad like spectrum, even just locally, you don't exist
Hmm.
online. Like
Yeah.
people don't,
Yeah.
like, obviously you have some clients, I mean you have
Hmm.
some customers, you're in business,
Yeah.
but you really don't have any awareness. And we
Yeah.
can see that broadly where people's awareness is at. And that's something that we've been able to help a lot of people out with, even just right off the get-go, showing them here's where you're at
Yeah.
in your presence online. And yeah, there's a lot we could go into with that, with exactly what do we mean when we're talking about measuring awareness
Do you
and
have any
people's
tips?
online presence.
Do you have any tips? Let's just say somebody's listening to this for the first time. They're starting their business, or maybe they're just starting to get a little bit more, what's the word, serious about their digital marketing,
Hmm.
and they
Hmm.
want to say, you know what, I need to start building awareness. And yes, I know some parts are measurable. Yes, I know some are not. What are some ways I could just start,
Yeah,
with
so
that?
let me tell you one thing that um and we had a client recently that did really good job with this, really good. Um, we gave them this report, which we do absolutely free. We give people
Hmm.
these reports.
Yeah.
Um, we gave them this report absolutely free, and they immediately took that report before we did anything, any work for them, and they went through that list of the listings, and they claimed them and they updated them, right? And that's
Hmm.
something that they can do. They don't need us
Yep.
to do that for
Hmm.
them, right? They
Hmm.
went through and this let them know, like, hey, your website is incorrect on Yellow Pages, your
Hmm.
address is incorrect on here, and all of this different information, which for you to manually do
Yeah.
that, to go check all of those things,
That's a lot of work.
I mean, I don't even know if it's possible.
Yeah.
It would
It's a lot of
take
work.
a lot
It's a
of
full-time
hours.
job right there.
Yeah, but you can claim those and sync them and fix all of those things
Hmm.
once you have that information in front of you. And it's not all that difficult to do. It really
Yeah.
isn't.
Hmm.
I mean, it just takes sitting down at a
Time
computer for a little
consuming.
bit of time
Yep. Hmm.
and doing it. And I
Yeah.
would say that that would be my first tip is just to go in there and fix those things. That you don't need to hire an agency to do that.
Hmm.
You don't need to, spend a whole bunch of money on ads to do that. Now, is there more that you could be doing? Yeah, but first step, let's just get those listings fixed,
Yeah.
right? And you don't
You're
have to be
organic.
super tech savvy to do it,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that would be my number one tip. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of different tips. Awareness and building a sphere of influence and building a community is something that, I mean, I'm really passionate about.
Yeah.
And I could talk for days about
Hmm.
lots of different tips that I would say that can help you with that.
Yeah.
But I think one of the first steps is just make sure you're claiming your business wherever they're listed, making sure they're listed where they need to be listed. And that's something that we can help show you how to do
Hmm.
fairly easy, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, boy, that's huge. Just, diving into the world, I'm not gonna get very deep, but in the world of SEO, like I said earlier, one of the first things Google does, especially with AI now, it's pretty cool. If you have some time, if you have ChatGPT is free. Gemini is free as well, I believe. One of the things you could do is, once you type in a business, maybe it's a restaurant near me. One of the things you could do is you could actually see how the AI is thinking, right? So you go there
Mm,
and just say, show a process or thinking process. There's a little option you can click on that, and once you click on that, it'll blow your mind because it's literally combing through the internet for
mhm.
data that has your name or something that you're looking for in there. And if it's finding inconsistencies in all those things, then it's coming up with lesser results. And the
Sure.
more
Yeah.
data you give, it's just a computer, garbage in, garbage out. The more data you give it, the more refined results it's gonna give to you. So I think definitely,
Yeah.
like, making
Well, and
sure
I
that
think
you're.
with AI
Yeah,
becoming such a big thing, it
yeah,
actually makes it more important
that's right, that's right.
because it used to be that like whatever you put on Google is just what's going to come up
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever. But
yeah.
that's not the case anymore.
No,
Even
no.
on Google, right, through Gemini and through the Google's AI itself, it is going to give you a result based on
What it
all that
gives.
data it combed through.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
And that's
yep.
what like that's all AI is, right? It just like you said, data in, data
Data.
out,
Yep.
but it is combing through much more data than we've ever
Yeah,
seen, right?
exactly.
So it's going to look through all of those different listings, all of those different sites. I mean, it's looking at Reddit, it's looking at Yellow Pages, it's looking
Yeah,
at Facebook, it's looking at all that, and then giving you the most accurate information it can.
yeah. And it's
So
really
from
cool
our,
because when you actually go to that little option, and the first time I did, it's like, why is it checking Reddit? Like, Reddit is just
yeah,
people's
right. You're
opinion,
like, what?
but it's checking Reddit. It is checking
Yeah,
Reddit. It shows the little logo there.
yeah, I
Yeah,
see it every time. Every time you do any type of AI search, Reddit is going to be the one of the places it
that's right.
checks.
That's
Right?
right.
It just wants to see what people are saying about it and stuff on there. But
Exactly.
so it's important that we try to track that data and try to make sure everything is as accurate as possible. Because you may
Yeah,
say, "Oh yeah, well people don't use Yellow Pages anymore."
yeah.
And I mean, we could have an argument. Maybe that's true, maybe it isn't. But really, it
You
doesn't
never
matter
know.
because
There's always gonna
people
be a
use
group of
AI, and
people.
guess what? The AI
Yeah,
is looking at Yellow Pages.
yeah, yeah,
Even if no person is going to look at Yellow Pages,
yeah,
ChatGPT is looking at Yellow Pages, and
yeah,
Gemini is looking at Yellow Pages, and that
yeah.
is going to impact the data that it gives people about your business.
That's right. That's right. 100%. Let's do two more tips. Any more tips on that, and then we'll call this.
All right. Well, let's see. I would. Here's one that I think is really, really, really important. You should launch a review and text campaign, right?
Hmm.
I Reviews are so important. Let me
Yeah.
ask you, like, Abraham, dude, like, when you go to buy something, is there really anything you buy without looking at a bunch of reviews?
No.
Like, I don't even think
No.
I spend $10 without looking at reviews. You know what I mean?
No.
Like
Yeah.
everything, I'm looking at reviews. I go to buy something on Amazon.
Yeah.
I want to see the good reviews, the bad reviews. I want to know what
Yeah.
people are saying, and so
When it
it's
starts dropping
important.
below 3, you're like, I don't know
Yeah,
about that
no,
one.
you don't. And the thing is, you have customers as a business. There are customers There are
Yeah.
clients that love you,
Hmm.
that love your business. And honestly, they want to see you succeed,
Yeah.
right? Like let's say you're a food truck, right?
Hmm.
And there's people who love your food truck, man. They think your food truck is the coolest thing ever. They think you're awesome. They want to see you do well. They want to see you grow, and they want to see your following grow. And but but maybe they haven't left your review yet.
Yeah.
They would be more than glad to, but sometimes you have to ask for it,
That's right.
right? And
That's right.
uh obviously, I'm not saying like if you have if you have a customer come in and have a really bad experience, which hopefully that doesn't happen, they're
Yeah.
probably not the one that you want to be like, hey, do you mind leaving a review for me on my site, right? But making sure that you're getting texts out asking people to leave reviews,
Hmm.
uh uh leave reviews for you. And
Yeah.
I think like you've been doing some work with that, Abraham, recently, but
Yeah. So,
getting people to leave reviews, and then
yeah.
also like we've talked before, interacting with the reviews
Yes.
is
So,
also
one
important.
of the business had a meeting with a business owner last week. We literally were just talking about this. So, what he's been doing all this while, and he reached out because we service them monthly, and he said, hey, I have all these reviews. I want to get them on Google. So I went
Mm.
over there and I asked him. I was like, so what do you do? He says, well, after we render the service to to our clients, we ask him for a nice review. Hey, would you write a nice review for us? And he was thinking I could now take that review and with a stack of papers that
Oh
he
yeah.
had, transfer it to Google. And I was like, man, I would love to do that if it was that easy. Right?
Yeah, I
But you've got,
wish it was that easy.
I know, but you've got to be able to get people to leave the reviews on Google. And
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think it takes much to get people to do that.
no, no,
If
I
they
don't
like your
know.
business, they're more than happy to.
Like you
Because it's a
said,
way that they
they
feel
want
like
to
they're
see you
contributing.
succeed.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
feel like they're contributing to you without actually having to sacrifice
exactly.
much of anything, right?
Yeah,
It's 2 minutes of time. And
yeah,
the truth is, they don't even have to write much of a review, just 5 stars. This place is great.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
encourage you to go back, right?
Hmm.
And so it doesn't take that much effort on their part, and they already love you. They would love to do it.
Yeah. One of the ways that we can help businesses do that is on our Illumin Business app. We have a feature called the Campaigns Pro, and pretty much what it is once a customer comes or a client comes in, obviously you've done a good job, right? And you think you should be able to get a good review from them. One of the ways you can be able to do that is once you put them into your campaigns, you add them to that library of campaigns that obviously a name, email, or text message. Once they leave or before they even leave, you can shoot them a really nice short text message or email. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Can you leave a nice review? Right? Just really nice, short to the point. And once they click on the link, boom, they can put that 5 stars in there and they can say whatever they want to say based on the service that was rendered. So it's definitely something that we're able to help out with. But even without our help, I think it's something that business owners should be at least asking. Hey, can you just, leave a review for us? Go to google.com and Google our business and just hit, and just hit a place where people can put in reviews with that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And one more thing along those lines, Abraham, I want to ask you, because I know it's something that you've been talking about a lot recently.
Yeah.
With those reviews, then why is it important, and how important is it for you to then interact with the reviews that are being left?
Yeah. So one of the things that people find out real quick is Google, number one, wants to make sure that your content is fresh, right? They want to make sure
Mhm.
that when you leave a review, there's interaction between the business and the client. Once they see that, all of this is just trying to build trust, right? Once Google sees that, the algorithm sees that there's an interaction there, your SEO starts to grow a little bit more. And apart from that, when other people see that, hey, this business is actually taking responsibility for positive and negative reviews, it's a little bit more palatable for somebody to say, okay, you know what? Yes, they probably didn't do a good job here, but at least they're owning up to it. They said they were sorry. Or boy, there's so many good reviews, and this people, are asking people to come back, right? So I think it's those two things. Number one, it definitely helps the algorithm trust you a little bit more, but also people trust you a little bit more with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that was a pretty good point. Yep. Yep. So, We're gonna add a time here, man. We could keep going with this stuff,
Oh
but
yeah.
I definitely think circling back and coming back to awareness, boy, just being able to grow your brand
Hmm.
by creating awareness, let people know who you are, man. People
Sure.
these days, there's you jump on Facebook, especially because we run an agency. I think those ads are targeted to us, right? I see a lot of that.
Yeah.
Man, you can get your clients 50 leads in 50 days and this and that, and it sounds all good and fine, but the leads that don't even know you, right? Like, hi, who are you? I don't know. You just said you're gonna give me this and that, so that's why I'm here, right? They don't
Right.
they don't really understand why they're there. They don't really know who you are. They don't trust you, and that barrier is already up, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's so much better, and now Ryan's laughing at me because this is pretty much his idea. It is so much better to build trust than to
Yeah.
try to trick somebody, right? Into
Absolutely. Yeah. I worked in sales, like not just online, but I worked in sales for a while,
yeah,
and there are two different kinds of people. Uh, but the kind of salesman that I like and the kind of salesman that I want to be is the kind that builds trust with people,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
builds relationships with people. And that is, I think, a better way, a better route of doing it. You have this picture of like people have the idea of sales guys that are like, these like deceitful, like they're trying to twist your arm behind your back, and that's not the type of salespeople we should be. We should be a friend, a brother, a mentor, a helper to the people. That's our goal. And so, like, building some awareness, building some trust, I believe is
yeah,
so important. You're not just trying to trick somebody into clicking on a call to action and buying a product from you. You're trying to build a relationship with somebody so that they trust you,
hmm,
and when they need help, you're the one that they're going to go to. When they're having a party and they need pizza, you're the place they're going to call because there's a relationship already there.
yeah,
When they have a broken furnace and they need someone to fix the furnace, you're the person they call because they trust you and they don't think you're gonna take advantage of them, right? So building trust and building awareness absolutely
yeah.
is 100% important.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in today. And if you're a business owner and you just want to get a little bit more clarity, we are more than willing to sit down with you. We're absolutely free. We're not charging anything for that. But we're more than willing to sit down with you and just see what your marketing is. It's always a good idea to understand what you're doing before you even jump in. See what your marketing is, give you some pointers and send you on your way, or utilize some of the services that we're able to offer and help with that. Any thoughts, Ryan, before we call this a day?
No, I think hopefully something here will be a help to someone. Our heart is to be able to help local businesses, specifically in our area, succeed when it comes to marketing. We live in a time that can be difficult for local businesses, and hopefully something that we've said today can be a help to you. And if there's any questions that we can answer, like Abraham said, reach out. There are things we can do, without even get you a report, give you some advice along the way. So if you need anything, if there's anything we can do for you, reach out to us, and
Most
you might
definitely.
be surprised by what we can do for you.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. All right. Well, we'll be seeing you later. Bye bye. Thanks for tuning in to Illumin Insights, where clarity meets creativity. If today's episode sparked an idea or gave you something to think about, we'd love it if you'd share it, leave a review, or connect with us online. Until next time, keep showing up, stay curious, and let your light shine.